Our liturgy today is full of meaning, full of rituals, full of symbols. So I won't be long in my homily. But it is important for us to note that we are, even if there is an element of the dramatic in Holy Week, liturgy is not drama. And liturgy is not just a simple and shallow reenactment. Everything that we do in liturgy is not a reenactment, but a making present of the saving action of Jesus Christ our Lord, the saving action of the Trinitarian God. And therefore, what you carry, the palms, they are not just empty symbols. They are not a shallow reenactment of what they did during the journey towards Jerusalem, when he entered triumphantly in the city of Jerusalem. But it is us making present in union with the Lord of the saving mystery that unfolds in a special manner throughout this week. Today we did the celebration in two parts, as was mentioned in the introduction. In the first part, it was triumphant. So we were singing lusty hosannas of praise to the Lord who is coming in the name of God. And the second part, that is started by the reading of the Passion, brought us into a very subdued spirit filled with subdued silence, a little sadness, but a lot of awe in the mystery that unfolds throughout from here all the way up to Easter Sunday, next Sunday. But I have some concrete suggestions for all of us. Sa Pilipinas, sasabihin ko sa Tagalog para mas malinaw. Sa Pilipinas, pagkasimbang gabi, dagsa ang tao, pati mga bata, nagti-TikTok. Kaya ang dami sa simbang gabi. Ang gusto nila mabuo ang 9 na araw, hindi sapagkat yun ang tama, sapagkat yun ay kaakibat ng kanilang paniniwalang mali na pagka nabuo mo, ay hindi ka mapahihindian ng Diyos. It's superstition. In the context of Palm Sunday, dagsa rin ng tao kanina, kagabi, ngayon, at sa buong araw na ito. Pero sa Huwebes Santo ay magkakaroon ng hidwaan ng pagkakaiba-iba ang mga may kaya at ang mga walang kaya. Ang mga matatanda magsisimba, ang mga bata nasa Tanay, nasa Boracay, nasa Tagaytay, at sa lahat ng mga resorts sa San Pablo, sa Los Baños, at sa maraming lugar sa Pilipinas. Ito ang katotohanan. I have to tell you honestly that I am sad about this, having been a priest for 42 years. We are now down to only 38% of us going regularly to Mass on Sundays. 38% from a high of 50s, not more than 10 years ago. High 50s, high 40s, at nung pumasok ang pandemic, pababa ng 1% every year. Ano ang explanation dito? Potential explanations to this are, in the pandemic, nahirati na sanay ang mga tao sa online mass, nagsisimba sa iPad, sa gadget, habang naglalaba o nagluluto ng adobo. Nasanay ang mga bata na manonood ng replay. Ang replay sa internet ay hindi misa. Mass is something we do together in situ. And the right place to do it is the house of worship, which is the parish church and all public and private oratories and chapels. So my dear friends, if you are here for one in a few times during the year, you've got to know that Holy Week is not for a beach escapade. Holy Week is for us to celebrate together in a very special way, because this is the highest point of our Christian Catholic faith that unfolds in the official worship of the Church, that is the liturgy, where we don't just reenact, where we don't just commemorate. We do it in the biblical term as a memorial. And in the biblical term, memorial is not just remembering. It is a making present of the saving action of the Trinitarian God in Jesus Christ in a special manner. It unfolds today, Passion Sunday. Tomorrow, Monday, the Gospels. Tuesday, Wednesday, the Gospels will all be reminding us about stages in this making present of the saving action of Jesus Christ. And then Thursday, on Thursday, please do not come to church to do Way of the Cross. Yan ang mali ng napakaraming parokyano dito sa Mary Help. Ang Holy Thursday ay masayang araw. It's a day of joy. It's a day of celebration. It's a glorious day when two sacraments that are connected to each other very intimately, intricately, were instituted, the sacrament of the priesthood, holy orders, and the sacrament of the Eucharist. Therefore, during Visita Iglesia, what you need to focus on is Jesus, the sacramental Lord, at the altar of repose. You're not supposed to be praying the way of the cross. The way of the cross, if you come here on Friday, that's the day for the way of the cross. This is a day of silence, very subdued and pregnant silence, a day when we look in awe at the mystery of the passion, death of Christ. And then Holy Saturday is the day of even more silence when we await the glorious resurrection of the Lord. And having said this, I'd like to focus on the first reading. When I say talked about he will not put me to shame, he's talking about with God on my side, I will never be disgraced. This is something that is meant for us to reflect on even more. Some people, some weeks ago, I couldn't stand a preacher in the gymnasium who was talking for an hour about the gospel of prosperity. Ang sabi niya, yung mga walang bahay, maniwala kayo, magkakabahay kayo. Saan kaya na itinabasa yun? Yung mga walang sasakyan, maniwala kayo, magkakasasakyan kayo. The gospel of prosperity. And one other thing I see in Facebook, social media many times, when people have new car, ipopost nila, thank God for the blessing, ang bait ni Lord, may blessing. Bakit? Yung walang kotse, walang blessing? Yung may sakit, walang blessing? The suffering servant of Isaiah in the first reading talks about, I will never be put to shame, and with God I am never disgraced. For as long as God is with me, the Lord, strictly speaking, speaking in a worldly sense, might have been disgraced from people who don't believe. But that journey and last journey to Jerusalem, he knew that he was going to suffer. He was going to die. And that with God on his side, his Father on his side, he will never be disgraced. And what is the big lesson here? Blessings come in so many forms and guises. It can come through a sickness. And we priests who are time and again are called to minister to the sick, and I for one who every Thursday do the ministry of sick visitation, I know what I'm talking about. Blessing comes in different forms and guises. And sometimes the best blessing is pain. And after pain, there is glory. And that is the glory that never ends, the glory that has no parallel here on earth, the glory that can only come from a God of healing, of compassion, of mercy, the God of St. Luke the Evangelist, the God that Jesus Christ, that he presented. If Matthew presented Jesus as the fulfillment of the Old Testament, and if Mark presented Jesus as God, nevertheless, who was abandoned and rejected, Luke presented Jesus Christ as the God of healing, of compassion, of forgiveness. And healing presupposes that there is disease, and disease could be grace. We are never disgraced with God. With God, even if we journey towards Calvary, in the last journey to Jerusalem, all on the way to Calvary, he was never disgraced. And on the third day he rose again and sits on the right hand of the Father. This is our hope, so I beg you, don't make Holy Thursday a Boracay Day or a Tagaytay or Tanay Day or beach escapade. Take part in the unfolding mystery of Christ's passion, death, and resurrection. And if you decide to go to Mass, to the services on Thursday, know that it doesn't end. You have to come back on Friday and then come back on Sunday to complete the whole picture of a God who suffered, died, and rose from the dead.